deeply, every senior in our nation should be able to live with security, stability, and dignity. And so in the United States of America, no senior should have to choose between either filling their prescription or paying their rent.
I'm proud to announce that Medicare has reached agreement with all manufacturers on all 10 drugs selected in the first round of negotiations. This time, we finally beat Big Pharma.
They did, to an extent, when it comes to 10 very specific pharmaceutical drugs. And when it comes to Medicare being able to negotiate the prices of those specific drugs. So last week, without any media attention whatsoever, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden actually announced the results of Medicare's first ever negotiation with drug manufacturers. So the Medicare system engaged in those negotiations. We now know what those results are. And it's important to understand what those results are, right? Credit where credit is due. So how much money will these negotiations now save the American people in the form of tax resources, of course, and the Medicare system overall? Now, first, we need to note that the prices are reduced specifically for seniors on Medicare. Okay, this is not for everyone who needs these medications. This is specifically for Medicare. So we've been critical because we don't feel that this goes far enough, but it's still a gain, a positive gain for Americans. So we will give credit for that. And the lower prices, by the way, won't even take effect until 2026. But with all of that aside, let's take a look at the specific drugs and how much the Medicare system will now save on these drugs. So you have Jardiance, which is a diabetes drug. There's now a 66% discount from the 2023 list price, so $197. Then you have Januvia, which is also a diabetes drug, now costs $113, which is a 79% discount. And then Fiasp, which is a diabetes drug, $119, a 76% discount.
Yeah, Anna, so there's two things here. One is giving the Biden administration credit because, they had only done one drug. Now it is up to 10 drugs. There's still thousands of other drugs, but the price discounts here are significant. And the Republicans would have never done this and didn't do this. So credit where credit is. Now, moving on to the second part of the story, which is as important. Look at the highway robbery.
I know.
Okay, so they negotiated these prices down finally because they were allowed to negotiate it, right? And it turns out, look, remember, the prices that the companies agreed to, they're still making a significant profit. Nobody's gonna make a drug where they lose money. That's not a thing that happens, right? So all of these, the new prices are still a big profit. So all of the money we're saving now was excess profit that they were charging because they had monopoly power. Because they could tell the government, instead of the other way around, you don't set prices, you don't negotiate prices in a free market. There is no free market. We set the prices and you pay whatever goddamn ransom we tell you to pay, right? So when you see the ones that Anna mentioned there, we're saving around $300 per drug in a lot of these drugs. And that's 66, 79% discount, et cetera. Those are giant discounts. But wait till you get a load of these ones. So I'll tell you the names in a second. But there was one drug where we saved $4,751. That's insanity. How many times can you take that drug? So it used to be, the new price is already still super high. $2,355. There's a drug called Enbrel, okay?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I have so much to say about this. Go ahead.
Okay,
yeah.
So it used to be $2,355. I'm sorry, it is now, it's going to be $2,355. It was $7,106. So they were charging an extra $4,751 on top of an already really good profit.
Yep.
And then another drug, they were charging an extra $5,615. And then on Stelara, we're now still have to pay $4,695, but it used to be $13,836. They were overcharging us by $9,141.
Insane.
Highway robbery.
I have to jump in on those drugs. Can we put that last graphic up again? Because I want to specifically talk about Enbrel and Stelara. Those are psoriasis medications. And so I have psoriasis and it's awful. And when these drugs came on the market, I was like, yes, finally, because prior to that, your only treatment is like a steroid ointment, which isn't good for you, honestly, right? There are like side effects to that. And so I went to my dermatologist and I said, I want to learn more about Stelara or Enbrel, right? I want to take one of these medications instead of use this steroid ointment. And she said, okay, yeah, that's great. But here's the thing, because these drugs are overpriced to that extent, health insurance, and I'm covered. TYT has great health insurance. Thank you, Jake. But all the health insurance companies refuse to just cover it outright. And instead, they want to force the patient to try all sorts of other BS treatments that don't work, exhaust all of those treatments, and then maybe they'll cover it. And so try a gluten-free diet. No, I'm not going to try a gluten-free diet. I'm not allergic to gluten. Like, I'm not going to do that to myself. Use tanning beds because UV light might actually help treat your psoriasis. No, I'm not going to go to tanning beds. That obviously has other really serious side effects. And so I decided to forego the medication that I need for my autoimmune issue, psoriasis. And it's disgusting. And it's all because of what the pharmaceutical companies are charging for that drug.
Guys, this is not a thing that happens in other countries. This is not a thing that happens in a free market. You don't get to say, hey, this drug, we make a huge profit at $4,700, but we're going to add $5,000 on top.
Yeah.
Because what would happen normally is you'd have competition and somebody else would also make the drug. And then that would lower the price of drugs. Now we know that creating these drugs costs a lot of money. That's why we give you a patent for a certain number of years. It used to be 5 years, and they extended it to 12 years so that they have monopoly power for an extra 7 years. And every year they have that monopoly power, they're robbing you, 5,000 more, 5,000 more, 5,000 more, right? And then they add an insult to injury by saying, not only are we going to have these patent monopolies, and not only are we going to make them almost forever, but on top of that, the government is not allowed to negotiate on behalf of the American people.
It's crazy.
It's unheard of. It's unheard of. So there is no other country where corporate rule is this maniacal, where they say, who cares about capitalism and free markets? You'll pay whatever we goddamn tell you to pay. Otherwise, we're going to kill you. Now, psoriasis is one thing, but a lot of these illnesses can kill you.
Yes, yep.
So they're like, okay, what are you going to do? I got your family member as a hostage now. And if you don't pay me $13,000, I'm going to kill him by not giving him the medicine.
One of those.
And by the way, sorry, Anna.
Yep.
68,000 people a year die in this country every single year because they don't have insurance and they can't afford these prices. So the amount of like corporate rule literally kills people, and this is how it kills people.
No, I mean, you talk about how a lot of these drugs are necessary to survive, to live. And, Imbruvica, which is a blood cancer drug, even with the 38% discount, guys, Medicare is paying $9,319 for that drug. How is someone who's not on Medicare, okay, because remember, this is a policy that only impacts Medicare, so they can negotiate the drug prices down. How does someone, an American, who isn't even fortunate enough to have any insurance at all, how are they supposed to afford that drug?
I just talked to our doctor, okay, and he explained to me, he said, someone had not hit Medicare age yet. So the insurance kept blocking them. We're like, and he's like, we need to treat her with this thing. And it's not a big deal, right? But it costs money, but then her leg's gonna be totally fine. And they're like, nope. And they made her wait 2 years until she got to Medicare. And by that time, the problem with the leg was so bad, they had to amputate. She lost a leg to corporate rule. I mean, like we could do this. It's almost like Trump practice that we're doing, like the 64 worst things corporate rule has done, except it wouldn't be 64. It'd be thousands and thousands of things. And so, and of course, why nobody ever does anything about all of these obvious over the top outrages is because we have corporate politicians and corporate media.
Bingo, yeah. And it is strange that I care so deeply about this since I don't even have children.
Maybe it's because you have a dog instead of a cat. We just figured it out.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for watching that video. We really appreciate it, guys. And we appreciate it if you become members, because that allows us to be independent, honest, progressive, all the things that you don't get from corporate media. And all of that is because of you guys. Hit the join button below and become one of us. Become a young Turk.